Hey, good evening, people. It is actually 2:59, and as you can tell from the mountains behind me, I'm still at the same place. This is June 7th, which makes day 49 here in Thailand. Cheap bicycle to Thailand. Last night, I got hit with a case of the backdoor trots. You know, the old green apple splatters or whatever you want to call them. So I'm like taking charcoal pills. This was a recommendation. They're pretty cheap down at the 7-Eleven. I didn't realize how many you're supposed to actually take. It says take 3 to 4 capsules 3 to 4 times per day. So, yeah. So anyway, I decided that since it's such a cheap place, with everything very conveniently located, I would just go ahead and stay in bed today, maybe watch a movie or something, do a little research on my way out of here, which route I want to take and stuff like that. It's been raining off and on a little bit. Obviously, you can tell from the clouds up above, but that's not the main concern. I just didn't want to hop on the bicycle and have to hit the bushes along the way, you know. Yeah, I was like, I'd rather just utilize a toilet while I got one. And so, yeah. So I'm just gonna kick up my feet and get out of here. I'm not supposed to. I'll be crossing the border probably around the 16th because no, I'm supposed to get my e-visa or something. Anyway, regardless, my paperwork's supposed to be filed by the end of the 15th at 6 p.m. So that means on the 16th I'll be crossing. So that's the plan so far. Yeah, not much else to add. Just the fact that yeah, I'm a little under the weather. Under the weather. My stomach is probably something I ate, and I'm just going to recover from that today. And then tomorrow I'll be hitting it. And this rain doesn't look like it's going to ease up. It's the monsoons, you know. What can you do? So I just pedal right through it. And yeah, the earth needs water, doesn't it? So, all right, guys, that's the update. I don't know if I'll just stick this on tomorrow's video or whatever, or if I just post something very short. But I don't really want to post anything less than 10 minutes. Although I think I might have already in the past plenty of times. Yeah. So I'm going to hit this 7-Eleven, get something to drink and eat, and then come back here and kick up my feet. All right, guys. Hey, good morning, everyone. It is 10:50 right now, and I just came down. Everything's packed up. We have a sunny day today. Today is actually, let's do this real quick. Today is June 8th, so that puts me on day 50. Yeah, I think that's day 50. If not, I'll correct it in the. I'll correct it later. I'll put yeah, it's day 50. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, it looks like we do have some cloud. I haven't checked the weather yet. I will. Something's moving in, but it was pretty sunny. I slept till 10. Seemed like a lot of people have a little chest cold the whole time I've been in there. It doesn't seem like I caught anything, but like I said, I'm recovering from something else. Something I ate or something just gave me the runs. So, I mean, I guess that's the politest way to say it. I think there's 10,000 different nicknames we have for diarrhea, but I'm fully over that. The charcoal pills actually work really good. I just didn't realize how many you had to actually take. I thought it was like one and done, but it's like 3 or 4, 3 times a day, and but they work good. So always have a set of those on me. It's been suggested to me by a lot of people that travel this areas. Um, my thing is I was trying to look at the border crossings last night, and there's a very, let's say, western one, but it goes through a lot of the mountain pass. It's the farthest, the closest to the coast there is. So, so this is just what I was thinking. So the major ones, the one that was closest to was called Wang, the Wang crossing. Wang Hershan. Like I said, I butcher these these words on purpose. Not on purpose, but it seems like it. Yeah, so I was looking at that, and there seems like there'd be a lot of mountain passes. It's the closest. It's technically right now from where I'm sitting, it is only 286 kilometers. But if you add the fact in that there's going to be a lot of mountain passings along the way, I was looking at the road there, and there's quite a few mountainsides it goes through. The other crossings would be, and if you look in the reviews on the Wang crossing, it's like it seems like there's been a few complaints about some a little shystiness going on with the border people trying to get what would you say, fake fines or something like that, like, oh well, you didn't do this or that, you need to pay, not a whole lot, but a few. So the other suggested ones was the Padang crossing, which is a major crossing, and the other one is the Bukit Kayu. Like I said, I know I'm butchering these. Those are the other crossing. Padang is actually 311 kilometers, so not much difference. So I think I'm going to head for one of those, because if I get turned away, or if something goes wrong with the Wang crossing, I have to go all the way around the mountainside again. Like, I have to actually literally backtrack myself. You remember what happened in Cambodia, where I got to the crossing, and then they're like, oh no, 70 kilometers down that way, and I had to go down that really bad road. Yeah, it made for good TV and everything. And I had some pretty good camping areas, and I had to use my water filter. Ooh, dang. And that just came down. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's how it's been, like, the last, well, going on a week now. These are definitely monsoon rains. I've spent, I've lived in Arizona, and you know monsoons when you see monsoons. Oh, wow. Well, I guess I'll be pedaling through it anyway. Yeah, what can you do, man? Probably need another shower anyway. No, anyway, free showers, right? That's it. Break out the soap, free showers. So I think for the fact that if there was any problems, I had to go around to the other border, I would not have enough time on my visa. I really wouldn't. So like the other ones, I think that there'll be a lot less chance of any type of mischief going on with the border crossing, because they're the major ones. So I think I'll shoot for Padang. That way I can swing back over very easily to the upper areas, because I'm going to stay on the west coast. Because get down to like Georgetown and stuff like this, and I think I'm just going to do the west coast of Malaysia and stuff like that. Maybe even do the whole full circle. I'm going to have 3 months, so it's going to, I'm just going to keep moving and recording, but take more time at the places I go. I'm going to start kicking up my heel a little bit more. But I noticed with 4 days of being here, I started getting really antsy. Maybe it was just the weather or something, but I kind of almost like depression sits in, like, what are you doing staying still? But I don't mind staying still, it's just as long as I'm preoccupied with something. Like the almost 4 years that I stayed in that field in Tennessee, I was preoccupied with my biblical studies and stuff like that. So, wow, look at this. So I have no problem with actually staying still. This is not going to be fun to go through. Even with the plastic bag that I had it wrapped up in, it was able to find, water was able to find its way through the knot and soak the stuff in the, sucked itself in the bag and stuff. So everybody's trying to stay dry in here. All right, guys. So the plan today, to make a long story longer, I'm gonna go for Trent. That's my only goal. I didn't see much in between. And actually, so I'm gonna get back on the floor and Trang, excuse me, not Trent, Trang. But Trang is still like 142 kilometers away, 142 kilometers. I'm gonna try and make a beeline to the floor and just stay on the floor, and I'll only have to go through the mountain pass one time if I stay on the floor to get down to one or the other, those two major crossing points. So like I said, it'll be a few days before I get there, so drop any suggestion and comments either on the Telegram board, which is easier for me to find because it doesn't get buried, because if you have a lot of recommendations, anyway, yeah, or just in the comment section. But if you want an ongoing conversation with me, it's best to go to the Telegram board because it doesn't get buried. I just found a bunch of comments from like 3 days ago that I didn't see, and it's because I wasn't using YouTube Studio. I was using the YouTube itself, where they indicate you have messages, and for some reason in YouTube Studio they were coming up but not over in YouTube. I don't know. Like I said, I'm new to all this, so it's like, yeah, I'm learning this as I go along. It's most likely something I'm doing, not something on YouTube's part. Anyway, guys, yeah, I have at least 12 to 14 kilometers before I hit the 4 anyway, and it looks like I'll be pushing through the rain. Meh, it is what it is, right? But I can't stay stagnant no more longer. And yeah, everybody else is just hiding out in the rain. All right, guys, I'm gonna caffeinate up and looks like take another shower. saw this. So I saw this car behind me. He was selling kratom, and I was like, you know what? I'll pull over and get a little kratom. And I was like, how much? How much? And he's like 50 baht. And I was like, a little expensive, but I was like, okay. But then when I gave him 50 baht, they gave me this huge ass bag. I'm like, oh man, that's way too much. I was just looking for a little. But the last spot I was in, 50 kratom got like maybe a quarter of this. So that's what I was thinking they were gonna hand me. But oh well. Now I got kratom for days. Kratom for days. So I'm not gonna eat it all. Well, the rain's not letting up at all. I'm out here by the Krabi International Airport, which is right there. So I really haven't made it that far at all. I'm still like, I don't know, 112 kilometers to Trang. I mean, there's a shelter here, but this is the first one I've seen in the distance I have gone, which is nice, but the wind's blowing all the water under here, so I'm still getting soaked. Hopefully everything's tied off in my backpack very well. I have my phone in the waterproof thing. I'm glad I actually bought it. It definitely, it's been coming in handy. Oops, and that was on. I gotta check that, make sure. Yeah, so it's just kind of relentless today. Yeah. Trang is 118 kilometers. So I haven't made any distance. The rain's kind of slowing me down, but that's how it goes. I mean, yeah. It's kind of hard to have high spirits in a gray sky. But I'll do my best. Alright guys, it's just going to be a slow roller today, because the worst part is I don't know if there's any type of accommodations between here and there. So I'm hoping everything in here has been, well, I know it's been bagged and double bagged and stuff. Maybe a little too much so. But trying to find somewhere to actually shelter down, because this is supposed to go on all night tonight too. Alright guys, that's the update. It's 2:56 right now, and it was just coming down on me hard. But this is how it is all day today, just off and on rain. But I found for 20 baht, they filled up a big old bag of fried bananas. They're a little harder to find, the fried bananas, it seems like, in Thailand than it was in Vietnam. Vietnam, it was like common street food everywhere. So I'm super happy. Got some fried bananas. So anyway, yeah, a little break in the weather. I'm gonna eat a few fried bananas and just keep on going. So this is the problem. I just noticed the water here. This was all filled up with water, and there's still like, so maybe that's how water got in my bag last time. I thought it went through the knot. Pretty sure it just went through the knot, but yeah, this is gonna be a problem. I hope I didn't soak anything. So yeah, this is getting water. It's not good enough to hold back the water. So, but it's good enough to, I don't know. So this is gonna go. I'll just double garbage bag it and not have this on it. And maybe put it underneath. I don't know. So yeah, that's, let's see here. I don't know how long it's been sitting that way, but Oh, no, I think... I mean, I can see some micro holes in it, in the bag, but not enough to really have a lot of water come through. So that's a simple fix. I'll just double garbage bag it and not use this. So we're good. As long as I have dry clothes for the night, because I don't think I'm going to find a spot to actually camp. And yeah, we're good. So while I'm doing this, I'll tell a little ramble. Someone was making a comment down in the section, said, "Hey, Hobo with the nicest teeth in the world." Well, there's a reason. Fooled you guys. So when I was living out in the field, hang on a second. When I was living out in the field, I was able to get a lot accomplished. That job was a hard job, but I was able to get a lot of stuff accomplished. It was a blessing, a hard blessing. You know, it was because of not having any bills and stuff outside of my monthly cricket wireless bill. Just the fact of actually living in a tent and saving money, I was able to do a lot. For the longest time, I had an old DUI, driving under the influence, that made me lose my license. And I couldn't ever get back my license because in California, they went from going from 3 months, of classes, DUI classes to get your license back, to 6 months. I'm like, I don't live in a place long enough to do this 6 months, worth of classes. And so I was traveling around, and I just was like, well, it's gone, But when I got to Tennessee, they were like, no, you can get your license here. You just got to turn off the license over there. Just tell them you don't want it. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing you could do. And so I went in actually just to get my ID. This is how I found out. And when I went in for the ID, she's like, hey, why don't you just take the eye test? I'm like, I'm not here to get my license. I'm here to just get an ID so I could get, work, And she's like, I'd do it anyway. It can't hurt, right? So I looked in. All I saw, especially being allergy seasons, they all kind of were blurred together anyway. So I was, I don't know, 6'5", 5'6", 6'8", She's like, okay, you passed. And I was like, she's being nice. Told me to go over to take the written test. And I was like, nah, I don't know how to do that. And forgive me if you heard this story. If I already told it, I don't remember. So I went over and I took it, but it's been such a long time since I ever did the written test. But I'm pretty sure I only got like half of them right. I'm pretty sure I was looking at that test when she was correcting it and it said 51, but she's like, okay, you passed. They gave me a temporary permit for a year. They're like, come back with a vehicle and take the behind the wheel test. I was like, well, I'm not gonna. I don't have family to do that with. I don't have a mom or dad or the way you used to do it. You just borrow your parents' vehicle after you get on their insurance. And so anyway, I went almost the whole year without. I kind of just gave up. I'm like, well, I'll just But then my friend, out of the blue, he needed help moving his stuff. The one that was going to the congregation at MTOI. We all went to the same spot. Those are the only people I knew. And so he's like, I need help. I need your help moving my stuff out of this other place over into, So I was like, well, I don't have my license. He's like, well, you need to take the behind the wheel, and that's all you need to do? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, borrow my car, right? And in California, that wouldn't be possible. You would have to be you'd have to have insurance on the vehicle. You'd have to have someone willing to lend you the car. They'd have to put you on insurance and all this shit. Excuse my language. Sorry, guys. And but anyway, yeah, so it was no parallel park, nothing. They told me to go around the block and just, okay, here you go. And they gave me a license. And I was like, wow, it's been about 10 years since I had my license. So what I did was I bought a van. You know, bought a van, and since I was working at the Pilot, I just parked it there all the time. You know, they knew I lived out in the field behind them and all that. So I had my van parked there, which opened a whole new revenue of, I was planning on actually doing Uber. But not just that, so I ended up with a vehicle. I got another electric bike, a nicer electric bike that instead of going only 10 miles and then have to recharge it overnight, this one actually went 30 miles, you know, or something like that. I think it was 30 kilometers, or not kilometers, miles. In the United States, we go by miles. Although I think in kilometers now. So yeah, so I bought another electric bike, but those were more expensive because you're getting one that actually goes 30 kilometers and back, not just like a little cheap Walmart one, which was my first one, was Walmart. So that was another thing that I got. So there's two toys. I also started building, because Brian showed me, you know, all the things to buy off of BikeBerry and off of Amazon and stuff. I was, as a hobby, basically building those motorized bicycles. I built at least two of them, right? Yeah, I built two of them, a few different engines, but also using the insurance of my job, which I said was a hard blessing. It was a hard blessing, and it was every day I just hated going to work. It really was. It was like I was fighting that inner child that didn't, you know, it's like go back to work and, you know, start working for someone, and there's that inner child that just wants to throw a hissy fit. He doesn't like working, you know, but I'm like, no, all the benefits from doing this job is very good benefits. You know, I was buying books. I had a whole library of books inside it was a 7-person Coleman Insta cabin tent, but I packed out my cabin. I had my little tent cabin with books because I found Abbey Books, ABE, and thrift books are online, and you know, at the time, the teachers that I were watching, they constantly holding up books, and this is where I got it from. You know, what we're talking about today is from this book, so I don't find it used, order it. It would come into my post office box, because that's a trick that's getting harder to get away with, but if you can get a post office box that has an actual physical address, which the one I went to did, and instead of putting down the address and P.O. Box this, you just put down the address and APT for apartment, and that number, they know what's going on. They put it in there. You know, you might want to give them a heads up, but they understand. So when it was, let's say 112 Stewart Road Southeast, you know, personal box PB 102, I put APT, you know, apartment. But the DMV or whatever they call it in Tennessee, the Department of Motor Vehicles or whatever, they were like, it came up on their screen as you know, as an actual PO box, but they looked to where they didn't catch it the second time when I actually went in with the car, and you know, and they're like, same address? I'm like, yeah, and they're like, okay, and so I ended up getting my license back. But teeth wise, the insurance from the job I had. So I know I kind of skipped from books and all that over to, I'm just trying to tell you how I get such pretty chompers. So yeah, I had really good insurance, and I found a really good dentist that only tried to take out the money from the insurance company, and so if there was like the insurance paid 80%, I still had to cover 20. He would just make sure that I didn't owe anything. You know what I'm saying? So he'd work out the bills and everything, and so I got a bottom too, but the bottom's a partial, and it eats into my gum line and stuff like this. So, yeah, so I got my top dentures. So if you watch the old video of mine, that's American Hobo Unleashed, my early days, you'll see that my teeth, my gum lines, my teeth are like basically worn down to the gum line. So when he had to pull them all. I mean, they were all, you know, they were just all worn down to the gum line. At least the fronts were, you know, the backs were. So yeah, I had a lot of stuff that was accomplished within those 3.5 years of being in that field and that job. Like I said, it allowed me to get my teeth done, to get a vehicle, to have a little toy, a few toys like the motorized bicycle and electric bicycle, all my books for my studying, you know. I have I have a theory that we all have like a hole, you know, and we constantly need in the middle of us, and we need to fill that thing with hole with things, you know, like with either studying or like I used to skateboard, so I filled that hole with skateboarding, and then girlfriends, I'd fill that with, you know, hole with girlfriends, and you know, friendships to fill it up, because if that hole goes empty, it starts to consume you and you get sucked into that hole. So that's why I travel so much, and I think we all do. I think we're all looking for that thing, you know, because there's nothing worse than filling that hole, feeling how empty that hole is. So, and as long as we constantly throwing stuff in, you know, then we constantly don't feel that hole. You know, we don't feel that emptiness in the middle of us. And you can feel that with anything, family, you know, kids, wife. You know, it's like, bam, that's 18 years at least of having that hole filled up, you know, because you don't have time to be depressed. And, you know, it's something we all struggle with, is depression and stuff like that. I had it really, really bad, but when I was throughout my life, my younger life, but that's a different story for a different time. So yeah, that job was awesome. You know, and living in that tent behind the place that I worked for was also awesome, because on my downtime, I had the deer, I had the rabbits, you know, I had the serenity of being left alone, but at the same time, I just walk across the street and start working with people. You know, it was an awesome little time, man. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoyed actually my time out there. And I appreciate the fact that I was able to save the money, get all these things done, you know, and yeah. But then I sold everything and I came out and started doing this. So now I'm filling that hole with a bicycle ride. And I think the reason why people just get addicted to stuff like drugs and alcohol is because they're feeding that hole with drugs and alcohol. They just don't have any imagination of something else to fill that hole up with. So they constantly, just like me, you know, I just constantly filling it up with drinking. And once I quit drinking, I had to find something else to do. And yeah, and I did my studies and stuff like that. So anyway, guys, that's a ramble, 13-minute ramble. It's a little bit more, you know, now you know that I'm not as ugly as this pretty face says I am. Or I'm not as pretty as this ugly, something like that. All right, guys. Well, it is 7:36 right now. Yeah, 7:36. And I found one shelter. It's hitting me again pretty hard. The only thing about this shelter is right in front of a bunch of like houses and stuff like that. And it's off the ground and over like a ditch, where if I drop one thing out of my pocket, it's gonna go down there, and I might as well kiss it goodbye. And that's how a lot of these are. I was hoping to find one. You see, even this side's the same. And all it takes is something to fall out of my pocket. Fall out of my pocket and down into the drain, or down. Yeah, I would never probably recover anything that goes down there. So yeah, I wish I could find, I mean, almost all of them are like this though. They build them right above the ditch for some reason, and that's along the road, you know. I mean, but not all of them are like it, but most of them have been. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to find one in a better location. It's not like right in front of a bunch of residentials. And that one definitely has someone in it. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out what to do. I might just go ahead and camp here anyway, get some dry clothes on, all this stuff, and just call it a night, guys. I'm tired. Let's see how many kilometers I did. Give me a second here. I did 85 kilometers to this point. Yeah, I mean, that's not that bad. Especially with how much it's been raining, and I didn't start until about after, well, somewhere around, I don't know, what was it, 11 or something? A little after 11. Anyway, guys, yeah. I mean, it's not in the best location, but really I don't have much choice. Get these wet clothes off. My biggest fear is, like I said, if I drop something down there, it's gone. So, you know, like if I have my AirPods in and doing any editing, and yeah, and I'm not sure how much editing I would want to be out here doing, you know, with I don't know. Anyway, yeah, guys, it's just kind of been, sorry, my camera is having problems trying to figure out where my face was, and it was acting all weird. So I flipped it to a low light filter, which is actually looks a lot better. Yeah, that's a big difference between, yeah, with a low light filter on it. It's actually hasn't been a bad day. I mean, distance wise, comparatively to the rain and all this, how much that was slowing me down. So I might want to just get some dry clothes on and call it a night and just crash out and hit this early in the morning. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a closer. This is going to be home sweet home for the night, guys. Right there on that bench. And I'm just going to unpack my stuff slowly and carefully so nothing goes down there below the tires. So yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight. And yeah, this is the place I'm calling home. All right. Good night, y'all. We'll pick this up tomorrow, and we'll continue on. All right. Bye.